Hey there, this is Diane Brandon Moody. I'm here again with another episode of 50 Something Love, and I appreciate you so much for being here. Listen, do me a favor, tell your friends about this podcast. I talk about the topics that I want to talk about that I think are helpful. I also take suggestions and sometimes I do it with guests. Lately, since I've needed to get them out, I've been doing them on my own, but I'm always open to a suggestion. So appreciate you sending me around to your friends. So this episode's going to be kind of a quick one. And someone suggested this to me from a Facebook group that I'm in. And he said he wanted to know about the use of AI in writing profiles and pictures. Here's what I would say to that. I have no problem with you using AI, whatever one you want. ChatGPT, Claude is my favorite, but using whatever AI prompt you'd like to use to write a good profile, especially if you're not very good at writing profiles. Some people are blessed with I can't even talk, writing capability, and others aren't. So if you feel like your profile is not doing anything for you, then by all means experiment around with it. But what I would think is good is to make sure that it's not so over the top flowery. So you may have to train it. For those who don't know, training AI is when you talk to it multiple times to get it to sound like you, only maybe a little bit better. What you don't want is for you to be um, writing a profile that ends up sounding like Brad Pitt wrote it. I don't even know if Brad Pitt's any good at that, but you would think he's good at it. Anyway, you want it. You don't want one that sounds like Stephen King, I would think, if you're going to meet somebody. You want something that sounds a little bit intriguing and interesting, but you don't want it to be um, over the top crazy because when they meet you in person, if you're not sounding like your profile, they're going to be a lot less interested and perhaps feel like they were kind of chipped. So make it sound like you, but a little bit better. So you can train Claude or ChatGPT. Like if you put some information in there and please write this profile for me, you can train it by saying, I don't like that first line. It doesn't sound like me. The second line's good. The third line is too much. Just go through it like that. Tell it exactly what is working for you and what isn't. And you want it to make you sound interesting, but not over the top. So those are my thoughts on writing your profile. I use Claude on quite a bit when I'm writing a social media post and I can't make it sound very interesting. I'll put the ideas I want into Claude and ask Claude to come up with it, and Claude will come up with a good one. So there's no shame in using that. There are some writers that are super sensitive to that. Claude doesn't use other writers' materials, so that's one reason I do that. The writers are super sensitive to that. Um, I've been told by writers before that I clearly don't understand AI, and I assure you I do. I also know that it's here, whether or not I use it, and it's kind of crazy not to use it if I can make my life better. But I'm not using it to be me, just to help me. So think of your profile like that. I don't know. I would imagine all of the dating apps probably have an AI option for you now. That probably comes at an extra cost. I don't know. I haven't looked at them lately, but you don't have to go that route. You can just use the free version of Claude if you want. You will be limited to time or hours or whatever, but I mean, it wouldn't. You wouldn't need a whole lot of time for something like that. Okay, as for AI pictures, no, 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 no. You are not going to use AI for pictures of you. You're not going to use filters. You're not even going to use a pro photographer. And I'm sorry to take that business away from pro photographers, but I think what that does is it creates an expectation of how great you're going to look in person that you probably won't be able to replicate without the right makeup and without the right lighting. And pro photographers can also edit it to, I love it when they say, well, we can take some of your wrinkles out. Bite me. My wrinkles are who I am. That's who they're going to be looking for. That's who they're going to be looking at. I don't want anybody taking away my wrinkles. I've earned every damn one of these. So you want to just use pictures. You can use a tripod or get a friend to do it. You can be outside, not at noon, do it in the morning or the evening so the sun isn't sitting right on top of you. That makes you look like a scary movie. Um, and you should be outside doing something fun, just you, just you, not your friends, not your family, and by God, not your kids at all. Don't, no kids in the photos. That doesn't do anything, and it can be dangerous for kids. So don't do the kids. You can have a dog or your cat if you want to. You need to have two that are close up, two pictures that are kind of close, and you need to have three that are full body length and no hiding behind trees or no hiding what your body looks like. No hiding behind clothes or a car or a fence. None of that. Don't hide because they are going to meet you at some point. And if you don't look the way that they think you're portraying yourself, that could be so awkward and embarrassing if they just get up and leave. And frankly, I would encourage that. If you go on a date with somebody and they show up and clearly their picture was AI and they don't look like that, or it's 20 years old or something and they really don't look like that, or they're 50 pounds heavier or whatever, I don't think you need to stay for the date. I don't think you have to be rude about it. Don't need to be a dick, but you just have to say, this is not how you portrayed yourself. So I wish you the best of luck. And then turn around and leave. So the pro photographers will indeed make you look amazing. They're good at that. But again, if you don't look every bit that amazing when you sit down, this person is going to be kind of bummed. What you really want is if these photos are just taken with your phone, just regular old good photos, you should be dressed in a flattering way, smiling, looking at the camera, all of that to make it look good, but not professional. So that when you sit down in front of somebody to get that coffee or that drink or whatever you're doing, that they'll look at you and they'll go, wow, you're so much prettier than your photos. So you want people to go, oh, well, thank you. That's really cool. Thank you so much. Rather than the other way, which is, oh, you don't look like your photos at all. You see the difference? So, no, no, no on AI for photos. No, no, no on AI for filters. No, no, no for photos that are old or misconstrue you in some other way. I think you need to get 3 to 5 photos um, for your site, for your app, and you need to replace them every 6 months. Or if something happens that drastically changes the way you look, every 6 months. Because we're looking at ourselves in the mirror and we're going, oh, I haven't changed a bit in the last 20 years. Yes, you have. Yes, I have. I know that about me. Yes, we've changed. So let's not try to fool ourselves with that. And if you do that, you may weed out a few people on the front end, but at least you're not going to be left at the door by someone who thinks you tried to pull a fast one. So that's all I got to say about AI. Use it to help you write better, but make sure it still sounds like you. And no AI on the photos. Just use a phone and a friend. Hope that helps. Looking forward to seeing you next time on another episode of 50 Something Love. Bye.